Creativity is the key to winning in business. And I think most people get so enamored and lost in the day-to-day of the numbers, but it's like, that doesn't matter. Yeah. There's one thing that matters, is the amount of people walking through those doors.
On this episode of Locally Owned, we're going to be meeting a very interesting person. Her name is Ana. She owns a salon in downtown Vancouver. Her company's called FlowState. So what we're going to do is we're going to be talking about how she started this business a few short years ago after training all over the world with some of her clients, learning from people that she learned in the UK as well. As most of you guys know, this is locally owned, but this story actually started internationally. So let's bring in Ana. All right, well, in this episode of Locally Owned, like I said, we've got a very special guest, and this one is Ana. Ana, you're the founder of FlowState Hair Salon.
That's right, yes. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Ana Luisa, and yes, owner of FlowState.
Just wait till you guys are ready to see what's inside here.
Thank you. Yeah, I have been here in the studio for the past 3 years and a half now. Yeah. And yeah, it is, you know, amazing to be able to have like the rustic place of like Gastown, and then going into the studio, it's
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. Yeah, because you walk through here, you see some interesting things, and you walk through those doors, and you're like, holy cow, this place is nuts. Now, like I said in the intro of this video, like this entire thing is based on local businesses, the good, the bad, the ugly, as some of you guys have already seen. What we're going to be talking about in this one is Ana's background story, because you didn't just start locally, you started internationally. But this entire series is called Locally Owned, so that's why we want to kind of have the fusion of the both. Let's tell the audience a little bit about your backstory and how you got into the profession and the industry.
Beautiful. So basically I started in Mexico.
Oh,
I'm born and raised in Mexico.
Nice.
Yes, and I started by doing hair. I have this crazy story that my auntie just asked me to do hair. I had never done hair before, and that's how I started doing hair. And then from there, I decided to move to Vancouver. I studied in Vancouver.
Nice.
And then once I was done doing hair in my school, then I graduated. I worked for Tony & Guy for 5 years.
Cool.
And during those 5 years in Tony & Guy, I started traveling into New York and other places in the world. And I started connecting with other artists. And then I started bringing the craft more into teaching into Vancouver. And then I started working for Davines, which is a color line and a product line, Beautiful.
Yeah.
And with Davines, and now I started traveling much more, and I have worked with amazing stylists like Alalon, Angelo Seminara. You know, there's so many other fabulous artists, and they are like top-notch up there in the world.
So you've got some experience in this space. Now, obviously, the fact you worked in New York, you mentioned something about the UK earlier, and you kind of took an inspiration from London to kind of open this studio. Tell us a little bit about that.
So I went to London. There's a salon thing called Salon International. So it's all of the hairdressers all around the world that we all get together, and they demo stuff.
Yeah.
And so being there, I was hanging out with a lot of amazing big artists, and we ended up in this super cute little suite in the second floor, and we were all like sharing our passion, and we were sharing hair cutting, and you know, we were just having geeky hairstyling time. And so next thing you know, I was like, I love this. And people...
That's where it kind of came from. But it's kind of cool to think about, because I grew up part of my life in the UK, and like this Gastown reminds me a lot of the UK. So when you mentioned that, I was like, kind of putting the correlation to the two is pretty damn cool. So what we're going to do now is we're going to dig a little bit more deeper into her story, but we're going to go a lot deeper into her business. So let's go inside, see this epic studio that Ana has built in this amazing building in Gastown. So let's go.
Sweet, as you guys saw, we just walked through her amazing studio right there, and who would not want to work with a view like that and be inspired to work with a view like that every single day? As you guys have seen where we work, I think this one's a little bit better, because during the winters, you probably get all the nice snow-capped mountains, and you guys probably could see grouse from here, can't you?
Yes, I can see grouse.
You can see Grouse Mountain, which is one of our local local Vancouver mountains for those of you that aren't from Vancouver. So Ana, we started with your story outside a little bit. So how many years you say you've been in this studio specifically?
In this studio specifically, it's been 3 years and a half.
3 years and a half. So where were you before this studio? Were you anywhere else in Vancouver?
Yes, so first I started at Tony and Guy.
Okay, yeah, right.
In Kitsilano.
Yeah.
And then from there I moved into Crosstown area.
Okay.
And then from Crosstown area, I moved, it was Workshop Hair Salon.
Yeah.
And from Workshop, I decided to open up my studio, which, yeah, and Workshop Salon, it was more of a chair renting studio,
Yeah.
which is, it was great. It gave me the opportunity about learning how businesses work a little bit more. So that's, yeah.
That's amazing. Now, we're gonna dive into the business side. I'm gonna ask some
Love
questions. I'm gonna ask you some questions that are gonna probably challenge you a little bit. I'm gonna ask you some questions. I'm gonna ask some good, some bad, and I want to know the dirty. The reason behind me doing locally owned, to be completely honest with you, the idea came from the team and myself kind of powwowing together, and it was a unique idea. Obviously, we're still in the midst of a pandemic right now while this is getting shot. You know, small businesses all over the world are getting affected. So I kind of want to dig that way. Like, we'll go back a little bit pre-COVID, during COVID, and kind of, you know, what's to come. So before COVID, 3 years you've been here. What was this like? How long did it take you to get to a point where, you know, you felt like this was fruits of your labor?
Before COVID.
Before COVID.
Before COVID.
Let's go 3 years ago when you opened the studio.
Oh my God, okay. Whew. It's been a ride. And thankfully, I have had my clientele, like since Tony and Guy, I have built my clientele, and I still have people that I have met since being an apprentice, that they're still my clients to today.
Okay.
So, you know, thankfully, very, very thankful with my clientele that have been following me since. But I was able to, you know, run my business because I have been able to have my clientele from previously, right? So that has been easy. The challenging part that I have noticed myself as a business owner, because now I'm trying to find staff, right? And like to create my own and try to find the right fit. It's almost like dating.
Yeah.
You know, that you're like, oh yeah, I like this person.
Probably
but
harder.
Yes, actually.
Probably harder.
Yes, actually. So, you know, it's been really interesting because then I did have really amazing people, but for some reason, X, Y, or Z, it just didn't work. So then you have to continue rotating. And finding the right fit in the sense of like personality, but also that they dress well, that they are professional towards their clients, that they are tidy around the space. It's very, very crucial. So sometimes I have noticed that has been hard. And then, you know, I find like in the hair industry, because this is a hair salon, in the hair industry, I found that there's a lot of people coming out of schools, but then when they get into actually doing the work, they get like, oh my God, this is too much work, forget about it. And then chair renters to commission stylists prefer to stay as commission and be billed by the salon as traffic. And then if you want to change them from commission to chair renting, they are struggling and finding that way of like how to create a business.
Because they don't understand what it takes to actually build a business, because they're kind of used
Exactly.
to just the profession and the career that they've kind of
Yeah, or like, oh, how do I have to become like a sole proprietorship? What is that? Yeah. Oh my God, taxes? What? I just give my T4 to this account and I pay whatever.
Or I get some back or whatever comes from it, right?
Yeah. Or like, you know, keeping my clientele. How do I have to call my clientele? What do I say to my clientele? You know, like all of that is a process. Yeah. So some stylists are not willing to take that risk.
And go. Yeah. Speaking of risk, you worked for someone prior to running this. Going from what is a traditional environment of a job to opening your own company, what inspired you to do that?
You know what? It's really interesting. Thank you for asking.
Yeah.
I have always noticed myself, I have this drive of like doing more. Where am I going? I have no clue where I'm going. Yeah. I just get the sense in my gut that is what it needs to be done, and I just go for it. And in the transition that I am going in the flow of it, I start learning things and I just try to solve them, which is great because then I like solving problems versus like getting stuck in it. So yeah.
So solving problems, you know, one of the big things is obviously solving problems. It comes up with opportunity because challenges breed opportunity. Being in business, it's a challenge every single day. There's multiple challenges that come from it every single day. What when you were sitting, let's think about your thought pattern for a second here. You were working in your previous job, and you're like, was it that you kind of hit a peak, that you just knew you wanted more? Or was it the fact that you kind of gave up on wanting to work with somebody?
It was a job from like 10 to 7 and only 30-minute break. Not on your phone. You cannot go in the staff room at all unless it's like to drink water. So it was like a full-on all the time. I would have to be even scrubbing walls if I didn't have nothing to do, or clean a toilet, or do anything that it was like anything, but just not in the staff room. So I did it for 5 years, even though I was commissioned. I wasn't like apprenticing anymore. I still had to be like around. So that was very challenging. And then when finally I got my residency, once I got that sorted, I was like, you know what? I need more freedom. I need to be more of a human being, you know? So then that's when I went to another salon, and it was commission based too, but it didn't last it but like 9 months, I mean. I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding in between the owner and myself, and I think she found challenging my personality, that I was always more and go that I don't know. So anyways, I got let go within 9 months out of the blue on a December 15. So I was
for Christmas.
And for Christmas, it was my busiest time.
Okay.
You know, and so I was like, oh my God. Well, so I approached Franco, owner of Workshop Salon. Okay. And Franco was like, yeah, come on in. So I jumped into his team December 17, finally, and I was able to start taking my clientele. Okay. And so I started learning about what it is, a sole proprietorship, if I incorporate my name, if I don't, like, you know, learning of all of this stuff.
The basics of business.
Yeah. Exactly, the basics of business. And 4 years later, I was like, okay, I love this. And I was having wine with a girlfriend of mine that she was my neighbor, and I would go up to her apartment all the time. And we would have dinner, and she would be, you're ready. And I was like, oh no, I'm not, absolutely not ready. Yeah. No, I see you. You're kind of like bored. You're kind of like in a pattern again. Like you need to move. Yeah. Okay, all right. I was like, but I don't understand how to do a business plan, and I need to figure this out. Yeah. So she's like, I'll help you. So she started helping me do numbers, put it in Excel. I'm an artist. Most of me is artist mind. Yeah, creative mind than what it is business mind. Yeah. So, but I'm driven.
Yeah, you'll figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. So anyway, she helped me figure it out, and then I came to a space. It was in November, I remember. I came to a space, I checked it out, and I was like, oh, it's beautiful, but no, it's not for me. Yeah. And I left it. And then I started feeling this sense in my stomach, and I was like, no way, this is not, no, forget it. Yeah. So then next thing you know, I ended up going in October. I had just come back from that. That's why I had this idea, because in October I had gone to Salon International, where all of this amazing, like brilliant artists are sharing their techniques and stuff. And because I went with a mentor from LA, and he was able to introduce me to like another very, very well-known artist in there. Okay. And so anyway, I was like, okay, maybe yes, this is what I want. This is what I love. Yeah. And when I saw the studio, then I was like, no, this is not, no, not yet.
So this specific one?
This specific one.
Okay.
I loved it because I had said I want a little bit kind of like a kitchen. I want view to the water. I want brick walls and like high ceiling.
And pretty much. That's exactly what you put your vision out, and you got it.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was like, no.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So I left, and December came around, and I went to Mexico, to San Miguel de Allende with my family. Yeah. And in San Miguel de Allende is like an artisan town, and that you walk into a studio and you see the artist painting his paintings, doing his craft, and it's a gallery. Okay. And I was like, wow, this is fascinating. It's like very unique. Yeah. So from London to Mexico, it brought me back. And in Mexico, I got this gut feeling. I was like, oh my God.
You just knew you had to do it.
I had feelings in the butterflies. And I was like, shit, sorry.
Yeah.
This is happening.
Yeah, you're good.
But that's exactly how I felt. I was like, okay, this is happening. So then, I came here. I called the property manager, and I was like, is this space available? He's like, strangely, it has been waiting for you. And I was like, wow, okay, so
Let's do it.
let's do it. And here I am,
That's
3 years and a half later.
So 3.5 years later, what were some of the early struggles getting this place going?
Permits.
Okay.
Permits, it was like definitely a thing because it's just like 2 little tubes coming through the wall that I just needed to get sorted.
Yeah.
So it took me like probably the 3 months to get it sorted and get it running. So meanwhile, I was doing clients here, and then I had a portable sink.
Yeah.
So I was washing them in the washroom.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, but I was, you know, you got to do something about it.
Adapt and move on and
Yeah.
kind of build around it.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so then I did that. And then another challenging thing, I think finding staff.
Yeah.
Finding staff has been one of my most challenging ones. So right now I am very lucky to have, well, I bumped into Sam and he started apprenticing with me and he's doing amazing now. He's on the floor. He is, you know, I trained him and now he's starting to do his own thing and I love seeing him evolve.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And then recently, I have this beautiful friend of mine that she called me and she's like, you're completely out of my league, but I think I want to be a mom, but not so much a mom. I want to be a hairdresser. I was like, I'll teach you. She's like, what? Are you for real?
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll teach you. So a week later, Jacob came upon and Jacob goes, I want to do hair. I'm an actor, but I want to do hair too. I was like, okay, perfect. I saw him. I loved him.
Yeah.
I saw through his eyes. I was like, yes. I didn't say it to him yet.
Yeah.
Then, yes. I was like, okay, perfect. So I went to Whistler that weekend
Yeah.
and I called him at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning. I was like, hey, I'm driving back to Vancouver and I need an assistant today. Can you assist me? And he was, soon enough, 10 a.m. dot. He was here and he was apprenticing for me.
That's amazing.
And then, so now I have been training Daniela and Jacob since, and you know, it's been a month and a half.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, well, you just said something that's interesting. So, you've had struggle
Yeah.
finding the correct, what you'd call employees or team
Yeah.
members to come and support you, but then you've also had the correct ones to stumble upon and wanting to work. And I think a lot of the businesses that I get to work with and deal with on a day-to-day basis, when we get into a phase of wanting to hire specifically for a role, it's always challenging because you're trying to find that best person. But when they just show up, they just show up.
They just show up. And you know what? I mean, I was feeling very unmotivated.
Yeah.
I was feeling very sad because I was like, I love what I do.
Yeah.
How come is it so hard to find the right people?
Right.
But I actually decided just to like let go of it.
Yeah.
And allow the energy just to flow and the right person will come. And
So now you've got a team of 3, 4 including you.
I have, a team
Yeah.
of 3, 4 including me. Yeah.
Where do you see yourself going, let's say, the rest of this year? Been an interesting year. We're going to come to this one.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting one.
Yeah.
You know what? I think it'll be great. I see my team growing.
Yeah.
I think my next step is, because we're still in color, we haven't gotten to hair cutting.
Yeah.
So I think the rest of the year is just going to continue be like training them.
Yeah.
And then from there, Sam is going to be solid build his clientele by then.
Okay.
And then hopefully by coming next year, they'll be able to start building their own clientele. Well, I'll help them build their
Build
clientele.
their clientele. Now, speaking of building your team's clientele, there's one big thing that most people don't realize they got to focus on, and that's marketing in their business.
Yes.
What did you do to market yourself to build your amazing?
Well, right now, because it is a small business and because budget is quite tight at the moment, especially during COVID and, you know, so I have to be... Pre-COVID, thank you, yes. And I prefer not even to mention it
Yeah.
because,
Yeah.
you know...
People's views on it are very different across the board right now.
Yes,
so,
exactly. But, you know, at the end, it has been a economical hit to everybody. So right now I have created through Groupon,
Okay.
just like crazy deals for Sam
Yeah.
to be able to build him. And then right now I do have somebody else like doing my social media because I just found myself like burned out, like trying to do social media, trying to train my staff, trying to do my own clientele, trying to do my inventory, and you know, and it goes so on and on. So
And
yeah,
live a normal life and try to live a normal life.
try to maybe have a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So before, so you said you did Groupon. What that's an interesting one because Groupon has taken a bit of a beating recently as a company themselves. What was it that attracted you to Groupon specifically?
Because it does bring a lot of traffic in.
Okay.
It does bring a lot of traffic in, and I have to say, the way I like working is just give and give, you know? And I think it's a way of doing it. Yeah. And people have called me and been like, hey, I'm just gonna pay the full price to you versus Groupon. And I understand Groupon is like a bigger business, and at the end, it doesn't matter. Yeah. You know, at the end, it's staying loyal to yourself and to what you have your word for. Right. So I'm like, no, I understand. Yeah. But it's just better if you just, you know, because at the end, it creates a ripple effect. It affects us all. It's an abundance circle, like let it flow in circle.
Infinity.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you.
So now one thing that, as I'm not sure obviously if the boys have explained, but one of my main companies that I run is a traffic company. We generate an absolute boatload of traffic for some of the biggest names in the industry that are online. I understand the traffic space really, really well. The one thing that I kind of have a question is, so you would rather give 50% of your revenue to Groupon versus put 50% of that money into, let's say, Facebook ads?
Facebook ads, maybe not Facebook ads. Just because I have done it before, and I just feel like it's like put more, and then they ask for more, and like nothing is coming in. Yeah. So then I'm like, I don't know. Groupon. It's the only difference is that it just is instantly. You start seeing like instantly the benefits of it and the traffic. It's crazy. My phone is like actually nonstop. Like I have Sam booked right now until October 10th.
So what's the deal? What's the current deal that you're offering on Groupon?
Pretty much it's a haircut, usually 60. I think it's going for $25.
Jesus, okay.
Yeah.
That's a huge discount.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just want to get him.
Okay, so now let's say you're giving that away for $25. You're selling it, your retail 60, you're giving it away for 25. What percentage of people that are coming through the door are turning into repeat clients? Because the one thing that I've dealt with in the past, my clientele that have gone through Groupon, is they get a lot of traffic immediately, but the number one thing in business is repeat customers. And they struggle keeping those customers because they're just chasing the next Groupon.
Some of them they are chasing the next Groupon, but right now what I'm doing, I'm giving them 15% off on their next booking. And I think that the right people will stay with us, and it has happened, not a huge amount. Yeah. And then also sometimes a stylist has to be able to say, hey, I would love to pre-book you, and I would love to do your hair again, and I would love to honor you at discount. Yeah. And so some people have stayed. Yeah. I'll be honest, I haven't counted my numbers. Yeah. But it has worked on certain people that I'm like, oh, you're getting a new return. Okay, cool. Yeah. Or, myself, I'm like, do you guys, because sometimes Sam can get distracted and he's busy, and I'm like, have you heard that we have like a 15% off if you pre-book? And they're like, oh, no. And then you pre-book them, and then,
Is the train good in the background?
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so you're doing $25 a haircut right now. You're doing 15% off on a pre-booking. I would be quite interested to know if you can go back and track your numbers to see how many people actually stuck. Like in terms of that's something that I want to see, and we'll put them here. We'll put them at the bottom later on before.
You know what? Actually, this Groupon, I was about to put him on Groupon just before COVID started, and then we got shut down. Yeah. So then I'm just like literally, it's been 3 months since we were open again. So I'll look into the numbers in the past 3 months.
Yeah. So the reason why I
asked that specifically is I spend $30 to $50 million a year on Facebook ads alone for clients. From a marketing perspective, I'm looking at this and it's just simple math to me, right? So if you're selling at 6, you're giving it away for 25, you're giving a huge discount in the middle. Yes. But what if you just gave that discount directly to your end consumer, but marketed your brand and doing it through Facebook ads? You'll get the same cost per acquisition, you'll get the same amount of traffic coming through the door, but you're not letting Groupon take the brand acquisition, you're taking yourself at the brand acquisition.
Yes.
People will now start knowing about FlowState, not Groupon State.
Yeah.
Right?
Smart.
So it's like you can still do the same discount.
Smart.
But still market it that way. Yeah. And then what you can do is, and then what you could even do in a way is like, because people are buying Groupon online, right? So if you understand people's psychology from a marketing perspective, let's say they buy $25 is the initial purchase that you're marketing on Facebook. They see an ad, buy $25, regular 60. They go to buy it, it's an instantly that you offer them an upsell, say buy 3 of them and get it for $25 right now. So you just took a $25 buyer and turned it into $75 that they've bought.
See, that's why I needed to meet you. Yeah, okay,
right?
okay, great.
So you're giving
marketing,
them,
yeah, totally.
You're giving them an instant offer to buy. Yeah. Now I guarantee you, if you did that, you're gonna have probably 3 to 5% that will take that upsell. But out of the 3 to 5%, 50% of them will never use that.
Yes.
So you just created revenue in your business that's just there to help you bounce back out of COVID.
Yeah.
But you gave that money to Groupon.
Ah.
Think about that for a second.
Yeah, no, totally. Okay, cool. Notes.
Right? So
yeah, we're chatting after.
Yeah, so part of what we're going to do with this is, I'm going to kind of ask a little bit more questions from the marketing perspective and how you run your company, is because we're going to help you kind of take this, use it. If you want some help implementing it, we'd love to help you guys implement it. But on the opposite end is I'd love to revisit even 6 months from now and see your numbers completely changed, because I would bet a lot of money to know that if you did that specifically, your business would 180, 100%.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I mean, as I said, I'm an artist.
Yeah, you're creative from a creative
I'm the creative part, and
But marketing is creativity. Like marketing is 100%, because I'm a creative mindset myself. Yes. Like that's all I think is like, how can I look at a company when clients come to me and I go, how can I take this company that maybe potentially struggling or stuck, right? Like those are the 2 parts when clients come to us. They're either struggling or they're stuck. And how can we create either bring back previous business to them or get a new, so it's like in marketing or in business, there's 2 things, there's vertical and there's horizontal. Most business owners are marketing vertically. So they're just trying to go, like if you've got a mom, you're trying to get their son, you're trying to get their husband, you're trying to get their cousin, their sister, you're just going vertically. But what if you went horizontally in your business and you go, okay, who else do you know that could potentially help? Danielle could get some work from. Who else, like Sam could get some work from. They're all training, but they're coming from your output. Now you're helping them build their clientele. So now you've gone, instead of going vertically just for yourself, you're going horizontally for your company. Now your value of your company increases at the same time.
Okay.
Right? So it's like, you got to think, creativity is the key to winning in business. And I think most people get so enamored and lost in the day-to-day of the numbers of, what's your P&Ls like? What's my stock inventory? Like you've already mentioned that stuff, but it's like, that shit doesn't matter. Yeah. There's one thing that matters, is the amount of people walking through those doors. Yeah. That's the only thing that matters in business. The rest you can hire, outsource, get people to come in here and people that are actually inspired by doing that stuff. Yeah. You're inspired by building this business to what it's at. Yeah. Right? Like when you started this business 3 years ago, what was your number 1 goal and why did you do it?
Taking care of my clients. Okay. It was taking care of my clients, have a more private one-on-one time. Yeah. And that I am able to study my craft more, practice it. That's, But
what was your goal? Like, what did you want to achieve from long term? Like most people, when you get into business, you don't just, if you wanted to do that, you could have done that just running a chair somewhere.
You know what? I have to say, for me, it was that, my goal. I don't know if I have thought sometimes like, okay, maybe I can expand into Mexico just because my family is back home. Maybe I have thought about that, but I have never thought actually further. I just kind of go.
Okay. You just go.
I just go with whatever.
So what drives you as a human being then?
What drives me as a human being? I think I'm just like a little bit numb right now of like hearing you talk. And I'm like, okay, I have some thinking to do. I know, he is. So that's why I'm like, So what drives me in life? Yeah. You know what? I love learning. Okay. I love learning. I think I need like the activity, the constantly going. I like stopping and reflecting within and learning about myself too, and energy. Yes, I work a lot with energy. So I think that is like and understanding the psychology and the behavior of people too. That's the thing like I get drive for. Okay. Yeah. So but then, whenever you go into like the whole business making and stuff, like I love it. Yes, of course, I love seeing the money come in.
Yeah, we all do.
Yeah. But anyways, you have another question.
Yeah, what I was saying was, let's say COVID lasted. So let's dive into COVID right now for a second. January was good.
Yes.
February was good.
Yes.
March happens.
Yeah.
What's your thought pattern then?
My thought pattern is very strange. And I
Good.
was like,
I like
this is a
strange.
blessing.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a blessing. I need some time off.
Yeah.
And I actually was like super happy that I could be at my house doing nothing and re-evaluating everything.
Yeah.
Because I was going through a personal breakthrough of things, and I think that is involving healing within doing hair. So yeah, I mean, I know my business was shut down, I know, but at the same time I was like, I know I'll be fine. I know everything just works perfect, and I trust.
Yeah.
So I was trusting. I know it can sound very hippie and like very like woo-woo, but at the same time, that's the way I was feeling. I was not freaking out because everybody was freaking out, and I was just like, no, people need help actually. I was worried for them because
And I think it's huge that you say that, because I think COVID, even for someone like myself who's just one speed go all the time, and it's like I don't ever slow down to figure out what's going on. Like last year I was pretty much barely lived in Vancouver for 2.5, 3 weeks at a time. I was traveling everywhere. It kind of centered everybody from a universal perspective, I think. Some people took it as, a drawback. Some people like yourself and myself took it as a benefit and saw that, okay, let's slow down for a minute. What the hell are we doing this on a day-to-day basis for? Who are we doing it for? And kind of let us kind of enjoy life a little bit. The fact that you say that, like you saw it as a blessing. You mentioned one thing too. It's like, obviously circumstances a little bit different because we talked about this prior to, but you had a chance to go back home and spend a couple months back home?
Yeah, I was 1 month home, and it was beautiful because I was able like to be with my family and do nothing. Nothing was like, I didn't have to be like looking into the guys like, hey, what are you guys doing? Or this client is trying to book and she can't, like, I don't know.
Fighting the fires of running a company.
All of it. So, I was just like, oh my God, this is so amazing. I was like loving my time there and just being fully present.
Yeah. Now, being fully present, did that kind of re-inspire you to come back and once things open back up again for getting more settled?
It did, but it's just because FlowState, I feel, was going through a transition too of like within the healing part of it, that I was rewriting that part of FlowState. It's not a hair salon that you just come and go. It's more about self-care and taking care of you that I was, and hair is a transmitter to your neocortex. So it is so important for us to take care of our hair beyond what we think of a superficial level. And people like actually start describing you as a person, and they start describing you by your hair. It's like, oh, I met this girl, like, oh, very pretty brunette, long hair. That's the way they start describing. So it is so important, and I feel like I was diving deeper into the values of FlowState in that sense than anything else.
Okay.
But I did know that the marketing needed to be turned around too. And I know that because I have 2 Instagrams, right? I have my Instagram for hair art and I have my Instagram for FlowState.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, Ana Luisa hair art is the one that needs to be, and then I was like, no, FlowState is the one that needs to be revamped and pushed more. So right now I do have somebody running that Instagram, and sometimes I send him like the information of like, okay, there's this new photo shoot I did, or there's this like stuff that I did, and I just send him material so he can help me out on
posting it and kind of getting it out there.
Yeah, and doing the graphic design of it and stuff, because I just don't know. I don't have the time. It's not the thing that you.
No,
you know what? There's hairdressers out there that they're amazing at doing it and amazing at marketing themselves and marketing. That's it. But if you but then you see their work and you're like, holy smokes, that is a total no. That is really wrongly done. It's a disaster. But I'm the opposite. I drive by that. I drive by studying hair. So
that's interesting. But okay, so you have someone. Let's talk about that for a second. You have someone that you went. COVID happened. You went to Mexico. de-stressed, spent time with family. It was a blessing in disguise for you in a way, on double-edged sword, some drawbacks, some benefits. But on the opposite side of it, so you've come back now, you're handing your marketing off to somebody else,
Yes.
which is smart. Outsource the things that you aren't like inspired by. On the opposite end, are you sharing behind the scenes of when people are in here?
Am I sharing? What do you mean?
So like on your Instagram, are you posting stories? Are you doing like simple behind the scenes of like when your team's cutting hair, if Danielle's done a phenomenal job?
Sometimes,
Okay.
but not too often.
Okay.
But like, let's say they are the ones that they post and they tag FlowState, and then I just repost.
Okay.
Yeah,
So why don't you have them posting it from FlowState and having them repost?
I could. As from now on, we will be doing that.
That's what I'd be doing, right? So it's like
Yeah.
a simple thing, even if it's whether it's your phone or you just get another, or you just get another phone for the office or like for the studio, I guess it would be, and like having them just whenever, because you're gonna have constant people in here every day,
Yeah.
every day, and every
Yeah.
day you're posting constantly content, and then tagging them in it, getting them to share.
Truly,
it.
sorry, I really needed to meet you. I really needed to like, I'm like really enjoying this. yeah, okay, I'm listening. Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
like
Cool.
like a simple marketing play. Like on the
Yeah.
on the ad side, we can have a chat about that more in depth later on, because
Yeah.
we'll put together and what we'll do for the videos later on, break it down exactly what we kind of gave you as a to do, because I want to come back and kind of do this 6 months from now, maybe the spring of next year, and see what you implemented. Like simple things, right? You've got your team that's managing your social media. Let them do that. Let them continue to do that. Make sure it's more consistent. This thing's pissing me off.
Do you want me to close the window?
No, it's fine. Is it picking it up? No?
It's pretty isolated.
Is it? Okay. So it's like having them continually post it, making sure that they're staying consistent, but behind the scenes is having someone dedicated, whether it's Daniela or Sam or Jacob or whoever it is on your team, saying, hey, when someone's in here, have a chat with them if they can share their cut. If this all 4 chairs are full, perfect opportunity. It's showing that your business is continually building. The whole point of this is to bring back local businesses. Specifically, we're going to start this in Vancouver, is to bring back local businesses, and you can share. It's like, hey, a lot of businesses, and you can be genuine with your clientele. It's like, a lot of businesses locally have been affected.
Yes.
Are you okay if we share this, and do you mind sharing this on your stories for us, just to see if anybody else can come from it? All they have to do is hit the share button. Game over. Now
Yeah.
you got free marketing from their stories.
Totally.
Because at the end of the day, a friend is always going to ask, where do you get your hair done?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? All of my friends, my entire team now gets cut from my barber, because now he comes to my office and cuts the entire team's hair. But it
Right.
started with me.
Yes.
Right? But that's exactly the same thing. You
Yes.
never know that one person that may have, even if they have 100 followers, but they may have Ryan Reynolds following them, lives in Vancouver. Now
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds walks through your door, your entire business is completely
Yeah.
180-degree difference.
Yeah, totally.
Right? It's the little things that I
Well,
think.
too bad you have a barber.
Alan, you got some work to do.
Yeah. Okay.
But like that's kind of what it comes down to, because the way I look at it is, and I tell Alan this all the time. He teaches actually at JCI, just down the
cool.
road, yeah. And he's built his brand just from like little things that I've shared with him over time. And like JCI has picked him up. He's getting a sponsorship now from some hair product brand, just some like little things like that. But it's like the reach that can come from other people's audience
Yes,
is what most
absolutely.
small businesses are completely missing today.
Yes.
Completely missing. Yes, you can spend money on ads, and I would love to do that for you, but it's at the end of the day, it's one of those situations where it's like you've got a team, you've got the interns, have them create a system for you in your marketing on the day-to-day, so that when they become full-time and you get another intern, pass it down.
Yes.
Pass it down, right? So that's consistently, because then what that ends up doing is, you never know, you may get, someone may see somebody on a social media, you might end up going to cut all the Canucks one day. I don't know, when we could watch hockey again or go do that.
I used to do Hendrik's hair.
No way.
before. Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, and I
that's-
did his hair for a long, long time.
No way. That's so. There you go. So it's like imagine having Henrik even sharing it on his stories. Like the amount of local Vancouver people that
Yeah.
follow him.
Yeah.
3 to 4 of those would have paid dividends for
I
a
know.
long time,
So funny. Yes.
right? But speaking of FlowState, we're going into an interesting time of year. We're going into Q4, which is, in my opinion, the best time for businesses, because everybody's ready to spend money. Yes, we're in. And correct me if I'm wrong, but you mentioned your business. You were booked crazy once you opened,
Yeah.
and then you slowed down.
It slowed down. Yeah.
Why? Or why do you think that happened?
I think people got scared for the second wave, and people are coming more less regularly, or coming less into downtown.
Yep.
And so I think that's what it is.
Okay. coming less into downtown. Okay, so then that tells me that mobile and convenience is becoming more of an opportunity for people.
Yeah, I think, or like not wanting to be around.
Not wanting to be outside or potentially catching it or touching the wrong object.
I don't know.
That's a whole different conversation for another day.
I don't know what they're thinking.
Have you maybe considered, and here's a marketing tactic too. So you've got a book of business that you've worked with for years.
Yeah.
There's probably a percentage of them that haven't come in.
Yeah.
Or come and haven't seen
Yeah.
you. Have you reached out to them and said, hey, I'll come to your house and cut your hair, but I'm going to increase my prices by 25%?
Yes.
And how many of them have taken you up on it?
One so far.
Okay, have you tried to do it, maybe saying, I'll come and do it if you book me 3 times in a row and I'll give you a 20% discount on every single one?
I'll try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the times it's just increasing your price, but increasing value at the same time.
Yes.
Right? Because if you just increase price, people are scared. People are scared shitless right now, but people are spending money like no I've never seen, in my personal opinion. People are buying more things online. I know my Amazon driver knows my house personally now because the amount of shit he's dropping off of my house.
Yeah,
Just because I'm bored buying stuff all the time. But it's like, how do you get that out of your consumer? They've already trusted you.
Yeah.
They already like you. They
Yeah.
already have a relationship with you.
Yeah.
So why not figure out how to get them, whether get them in here or get somebody out to them?
Totally.
Because that will just keep the fear of the business kind of
Yes.
moving and transform.
Okay.
Right? How long are we at?
We're at 37 minutes. So
Oh, perfect. Now, Anna, we're coming closer to the end of this episode.
Okay. I'm like, this is a class. Okay.
Yeah, so we're coming closer to the end of this episode. Like I said earlier, we're gonna come back in about 6 months from now, revisit this, be a little bit less formal.
Yeah.
But I just kind of want to know, something that you've implemented. We don't know. The friggin' country could lock down again. We don't know. There's so much uncertainty right now. We don't think so,
Yeah.
but it could. We don't know. But even during that time, 6 months from now, where would you like to see this studio be?
I would love to just see the stations. More active. Yeah. Yeah, just like the sessions fully booked. The
Yeah.
guys ready on the floor.
Yeah.
And I mean, sometimes myself busy, but sometimes stepping out a little
Chilling.
bit.
Working on your business.
Working on my business from a different perspective, not being all the time like so physical here.
Yeah. And I think that's also a big thing for business owners, and this will be kind of a tail end of it. It's like one of the books that I read early on is a book called The E-Myth by Michael Gerber, and he talks about most people like ourselves, we're creative. We get to a point where we work in a job, we're like, I could do this on my own. We go that, but then we open the business, now you're doing everything.
Yeah.
You're working in your business all the time. But the
Yeah.
whole point of you working in your business is to work on your business and build a team. And I think you're getting there. Obviously you got 3 people, you got 4 chairs that include yourself, but your creativity is still going to be there. And I think focusing on working on your business and getting the consistency that, doesn't matter if there's pandemic number 2, it shouldn't affect your business, even if it shuts down for 6 months.
Totally.
Coming back from that.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see what comes from this. I'm excited to see her
too.
6 months from now having this thing packed. Will be spring? Should be spring or just end of fall, end of winter.
6 months.
Probably be end of winter into or like late winter, early spring. We'll have gone through Christmas season, which I think
Yeah.
you should clean house during Christmas season. People are getting
Oh,
ready.
it'll be crazy busy.
Yeah.
Christmas is always like, but after COVID, it was crazier than Christmas.
Yeah.
Crazier than Christmas. Yeah, I have never.
And I think a lot of your clientele that haven't.
I was like, sure, I would love to see my salon like exactly like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
it was
nonstop.
insane.
Just
Yeah, it was
nonstop.
insane.
Yeah, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I think I have never seen my numbers be the way they were, like how they were.
But that
Right after COVID.
you can have those numbers consistently.
Oh, I would love to. Yeah.
Throughout the year.
And that's what I want to see. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So we're gonna look at that. We're gonna come back.
Cool.
Anna, where can people find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, I am at FlowState Hair Design,
Okay.
and then on Facebook as well as FlowState Hair Design,
Okay.
and then on my personal, like hair personal,
Yeah.
it is Ana Luisa Hair Art.
Okay.
Oh, and the website, flowstatehair.com.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're gonna put all the links below this video. If you're listening to the audio version of this, you're gonna see it in the show notes of it as well. One of the things that I want you guys to do is go follow. And if you're in Vancouver, come visit Anna in her shop because this place is absolutely epic.
Thank you.
And we look forward to seeing you in 6 months.
Yes, me too. Looking forward. Thank you so much.
Sweet. So this episode, you guys have seen FlowState. Ana and her beautiful studio that she's got here in Gastown. For those of you in Vancouver, we'll look forward to seeing you in the next episode.